Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Counting the top 10 laws of the main characters in the world, villains are Numb. Gu Changsheng traveled to the fantasy world and became a disciple of a small sect, awakening the inventory system. As long as you take inventory, you can receive rewards. Opening inventory of the top 10 protagonist laws of fantasy. The first law. When a waste material counterattack occurs, it must be carried with you, Grandpa.Representative figure. Dou Po Xiao Yan. The second law. Ordinary human beings with ordinary abilities will eventually possess treasures that defy heaven.Representative figure. Li, a mortal. The third law. Born in response to adversity, the person of destiny is invincible and pushed horizontally. Representative figure. Perfect wilderness emperor. The fourth law. As the laws of the protagonists are exposed one by one, all the villains in the world are numb. So can I still follow the rules to find the protagonist? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Crossing the mysterious world and opening the avenue inventory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Get it done. I don't know if this thing is really true or not. In a dilapidated thatched cottage, a tall and handsome young man was staring at the virtual screen in front of him, with a hint of unease on his face. If it's true, even in this mystical world where there are many saints like dogs and emperors walking everywhere, one can still thrive. Deep in the eyes, there was a flicker of excitement. The boy, Gu Changsheng, was originally a global college student. He went on a trip to Mount Taishan Mountain and fell off the cliff, but unexpectedly crossed it. And it's also a journey into a fantasy world. This world is called the human yuan realm. Practicing martial arts, the strong will pick stars, take the moon, and destroy the sky and earth. At the same time, there are numerous sects and countless proud sons of heaven chasing the path of the emperor. The sect where Gu Changsheng is located is called Changshengwen, which is very domineering, but it is a lonely small sect. Apart from the leader, there are only 6 senior brothers and sisters left. He traveled through time and became the 7th disciple of the sect after entering the sect. In this world where the strong can easily turn the tide and destroy the stars, such weak strength is simply not enough to protect oneself. Perhaps one day, encountering a battle between the strong, one after-effect could be enough to make the Changsheng temple disappear. Fortunately, there is no way out, and after crossing, I brought a golden finger. This inventory system, as long as Gu Changsheng conducts an inventory, will screen the heavens and all worlds, and the greater the impact received, the richer the rewards will be. Therefore, Gu Changsheng spent a whole day and night finalizing the content. All heavens and all realms are born out of rules. And some people, who are the sons of fate, have emerged, each following the laws of the protagonist. Like a genius turning into waste material, then rising against the sky, carrying a golden finger with him. Or perhaps after surviving a great disaster and rebirth from nirvana, invincible in the world. Or being divorced, deposed from cultivation, found treasures, or having their engines destroyed. Detected that the host has finished editing the inventory content. Do you want to start the inventory? Will my opening attract strong people? Disaster. Gu Changsheng asked. The fantasy world. The great emperor was reborn with a drop of blood, and in the cycle of reincarnation, he saw eternal life and deduced the mysteries of heaven. He still had to be cautious. Inventory enabled, the system will automatically block everything about the host, and no organism can detect the host. Please rest assured, host. Since that's the case, then let's start the inventory check. With the support of the system, Gu Changsheng agreed without hesitation. Buzz. In an instant, Gu Zhanghua turned into a shining point, as if it were virtual. Immediately after, the mystical world he was in suddenly changed the sky, with a purple golden stream of light flashing across the sky, dividing the sky in half, and then slowly unfolding like a scroll. Among them, the sound of the great Tao Sanskrit resounds through the heavens and earth, and the purple air comes from the east, forming a huge canopy that spans across the sky. No matter who it is. No matter where. As soon as you look up, you can see this terrifying sight. What happened? Master Changsheng Taoist rushed out of the door. Master. Senior brother, have you also been alarmed? In an instant, 6 figures also rushed out of the seclusion and gathered in front of the audience. A few people looked up at the scene, their faces turning pale. Isn't it that there are the strongest ones competing? Senior brother Yi Qin guessed. What a terrifying person is this? Supreme. Or perhaps the great emperor. Master, let's run away. A cry of surprise arose. The leader frowned, shook his head, and said, no, it's not like a battle, it's like some kind of heaven and earth anomaly. I'm afraid something will change. At this moment, Gu Changsheng seemed to be in a virtual world, able to watch the reactions of his master, senior brothers, and senior sisters, and couldn't help but smile. Not just the concept of longevity. Within the human element boundary. Whether it's the holy land of swordsmanship, or the giants of the demon realm, the Changsheng dynasty, and so on, countless forces and great powers are all shocked by this celestial anomaly. Many of them are immortal and old monsters, and during the deduction, they suffer from backlash. Mild cases suffer heavy damage and their cultivation falls, while severe cases die on the spot. In an instant. Countless powerful individuals and forces are in great fear. This time, it's unpredictable. Just as they were puzzled and panicked about it, 6 big characters were revealed in the act under the blessing of the great Tao Law. Avenue inventory open. Immediately. The sound of the great road falls into the ears of everyone, like thunder piercing through their ears. The heavens are boiling. Avenue inventory. What is this? Just looking and hearing it, my heart is trembling. Which immortal emperor's pen? No, this thing is even more terrifying than the immortal emperor. There will be a big change in the world. Chapter 2. Shocking the heavens and all worlds. Inventory of the 10 heavens. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All heavens and all realms. The sky curtains of countless planes are now shrouded in huge light curtains. Inside the light curtain, the golden light shines brightly, and the red neon lights radiate. Ruizai Qiantiao, purple mist spraying thin. In addition, the breath of the great road is surging incessantly, and endless pressure falls from the sky. Slightly perceive. It gives people a chilling feeling. Those with low strength. It's almost suffocating. For a moment, countless cultivators were trembling with fear and fear. This. What's going on? What a terrifying pressure. How did this light curtain appear? Isn't it a great skill? Avenue inventory. What does it mean? The heavens were frightened and had no idea what had happened. Countless gazes gathered one after another. Perfect plain. At the border and wasteland Imperial Pass, everyone was worried when they saw this situation. What? Avenue inventory. Is it a foreign hand? Is the foreign land going to launch another great war against the 9 heavens and 10 earths? Everyone was amazed and anxious. This Imperial Pass is located as a frontier fortress to resist foreign invasions. Having undergone countless baptisms of war. Here is the forefront of resisting foreign lands in 9 days and 10 places. It is highly likely that a great war will be launched in a foreign land. The person guarding the pass is naturally frightened and uneasy. At this moment, a figure slowly walked out. This person is dressed in a black brocade robe, with black hair as satin, eyes as bright as cold electricity, and distinct and profound facial features. Only stand from the background and stand there. It gives people a majestic aura that engulfs thousands of miles, with an unparalleled demeanor that overlooks the world. Who is it if it's not a wilderness? After appearing, Huang raised his eyes and looked at the light curtain outside the 9 heavens. At a slight sensation, his eyebrows furrowed and his face became even more difficult to see the extreme. What a terrifying aura. I'm afraid even the immortal king is just like that. It shouldn't have been done by someone from a foreign land. Upon hearing this, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately, everyone turned their heads and looked towards the inventory light screen. Alien. A man stood up with his eyes fixed on the sky. This man has a commanding aura, with a terrifying aura emanating from all over his body. He holds a spear in his left hand and a shield in his right hand. Standing still is like the ruler of this heaven and earth. He is the ancestor of the Anlan Emperor family. The immortal king of foreign regions, Anlan. Beside Anlan stood a person. This person is handsome, with black hair like a waterfall, cold and evil. It is precisely Anlan's close friend. The ancient ancestor of the Yutua Emperor family and the immortal King Yutua. The inventory light curtain visible from the sky. Yutua couldn't help but be surprised. A pen from 9 days and 10 places. Upon hearing this, Anlan didn't even think about it and shook her head, saying, "Impossible. Just the breath emanating from the light curtain is terrifying to the extreme. Even the immortal king couldn't have such a hand." Yutua was stunned for a moment, then spoke out with a slight suspicion. "What does this avenue inventory mean?" Anlan felt a bit helpless and let out a sigh, sighing. "Let's take a look first. Defeat the plane. Xiao family." In the attic, a young man stood by the window. This young man has a beautiful appearance and is dressed in black. His temperament is free and easy, with a black ruler diagonally behind him. The youth is none other than Xiao Yan. At this moment, behind the backdrop of seeing the light from the zenith, Xiao Yan's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. "This. What is it? It's so terrifying." Just as he was amazed, the words of Yao Lao suddenly came to his mind. "Even I have never seen such a vision before." The aura emanating from the light curtain was even more terrifying. "Even the Emperor Dou is strong, I'm afraid it's just that." Upon hearing Yao Lao's words, Xiao Yan was even more shocked, and his chin was almost startled. "Dou Di Changzhe." He muttered in shock and then stared straight at the inventory screen. At the same time, the mortal plane. Chaotic starry sea. Outside a cave, a man stared straight at the sky. This man has exquisite 3-dimensional facial features, smooth lines, and clear and bright eyes. It's Hanli. After escaping from the country and entering the chaotic sea of stars, Hanli opened up a new cave here for cultivation. It uses the Nishan grass to lure demon beasts and kills demons to obtain hundreds of demon pills. A large number of pills have been refined. After a period of cultivation, the cultivation has finally broken through to the end of the pill period. What shocked Hanli even more was, he had just formed the pill when he saw such a strange phenomenon at the zenith. Especially, the terrifying aura emanating from within that light curtain. With just a slight sensation, he couldn't stop trembling all over. Okay. What a terrifying aura. Avenue inventory. Isn't it a person from the Star Palace? Covering the heavenly plane. Beidou Star Domain. A man looked up at the inventory light curtain. The man has a delicate and resolute face, with clear eyes, like a wandering immortal. Who is not Yi Fan? Dark turmoil is imminent. At this moment, such an anomaly occurred. Yi Fan muttered to himself. Is the Dark One planning to launch a dark rebellion in advance? Suddenly, a thought flashed through Yi Fan's mind. At the thought of this, his whole mind was in a frenzy. Let's take a look at what this avenue inventory actually does, right? After a brief pause, Yi Fan finally calmed down his restless and agitated mind. At a time of suspicion and shock among the people of all heavens and worlds. In the huge golden light curtains that appeared in various planes, a line of words slowly emerged. Inventory of the top 10 laws of the celestial characters. Chapter 3. The protagonist is the son of destiny. Definitely. You are listening at novelfull.audio. See the content displayed in the inventory light screen. The heavens and all worlds were amazed. There are 4 discussions. Inventory the top 10 main laws of the heavens. What is this? A law. Is it some kind of law? The protagonist. What does it mean? Isn't this protagonist referring to the chosen son of heaven? The people of destiny. Their laws. Just as everyone in the world sighed inside. In the inventory light screen of various major positions, the sound of the great road resounds. The protagonist is the so-called son of destiny, like the stars arched over the moon, and like a mountain peak worshipping the great mountain, calm down and proud, the world welcomes spring, with the blessing of great fortune on one's body. And the protagonist's law is a certain law that conforms to the protagonist. According to Gu Changsheng's explanation. Everyone in the world finally understood and nodded knowingly. I see. As I thought, the protagonist is the chosen son of heaven. Such people are all talented and extraordinary, they are extraordinary in their own way. Simply put, wherever you go, you have bad luck. That is to say, this huge light curtain is the law of counting the sons of destiny. Not bad, not bad. If we know who the protagonist is and find him, wouldn't it be like being close to our thighs? Just as everyone was amazed, the sound of the great road rang out again. The first law. When a waste material counterattack occurs, it must be carried with you, Grandpa. This law has the following manifestations. 1. The former waste materials have become Tianjiao, rising against the sky. 2. Cognitive secrets that transcend identity, status, and age. At the critical moment of life and death, combat effectiveness exponentially increases. 4. There is one or more souls inside the body, ring, etc. Seeing the content displayed in the inventory light screen, all heavens and worlds were shocked. Is this the law? Backward flow of waste materials. One body, 2 souls. Following a certain pattern. The rise of waste. If we find the protagonist of the law, and it's not posted. After this inventory exposure, the protagonist of the law may be erased by someone, right? I'm just a useless person, can I be the protagonist of this law? For a moment, people from all over the world were discussing endlessly. There are those who want to find the protagonist of this law and get close to their thighs from now on. There are also those who fantasize about becoming the protagonist. Of course, there are still many people who hold a mentality of annihilation. Most of these people are arrogant figures from all walks of life. For them, they don't want the protagonist of the first law to exist. After all, no one wants their arrogant position to be replaced by others. Especially, there is still a resurgence of waste wood. This is definitely not something that those arrogant people can tolerate. On this occasion, a certain world. Outside a small dilapidated house. There is a young man looking up at the inventory light curtain. The young man wore a necklace around his neck. Just as he was lost in thought and watching, the necklace around his neck suddenly emitted a brilliant radiance. The next moment, I saw a phantom figure floating out of the necklace. This figure is an old man, with a childlike face and white hair, and silver beards fluttering under his chin. Glancing at it, it was truly like a fairy figure walking out of a picture. The boy was shocked when he saw the old man floating in front of him. Just now, he was still thinking that he was just a useless person. Is it possible for him to become the protagonist of this first law? Who knows, this won't wait for him to recover. The soul of an old man floated out from the necklace hanging around his neck. Ha! Before the young man could recover, the old man burst out laughing. Young man! So you are the protagonist of the first law. Since that's the case, let me assist you from now on. Another plane. A young man has just finished cleaning the ancestral hall. Seeing the protagonist's introduction about the first law in the inventory light screen, the young man couldn't help but be surprised. The reverse flow of waste materials. Is there one or more souls inside the body, ring, etc.? The young man exclaimed in shock, then lowered his gaze to look at the blue ring in his hand. Previously, while cleaning, he picked up this ring in a corner of the temple. Will there be a soul hidden inside the ring I found? Just as Shaolin was muttering, a strange scene occurred. But seeing that, the ring he held in his hand immediately emitted a dazzling light. Following closely, the figure of an old man in a cloak drifted out. Kid! You guessed right, there is indeed a soul hidden inside the ring. Before the death of this demon, in order to prevent his soul from being tormented by enemies. That's why I sealed my soul in this ring. The young man looked shocked. Just now, I was just thinking casually. Who would have thought that a soul really popped out of this ring? So, I agree with the protagonist of the first law of inventory. The young man said in shock, looking incredulous. The old man nodded and whispered. It does match. From now on, let me teach you how to do. With my guidance, you will definitely become an incredibly powerful mage in the future. For a moment, such as something similar. Performed in many aspects. The heavens and realms are completely chaotic. Chapter 4. Inventory begins. The representative of the first law. You are listening at novel full.audio. Defeat the plane. Xiao family. Xiao Yan saw the subtitles on the inventory screen. The whole person suddenly froze. This. He looked surprised and somewhat incredulous. Indeed, the terms and conditions of this first law perfectly match him. Shouldn't it be? I'm also the protagonist of the first law, right? Surprised, Xiao Yan muttered unconsciously. In his view, every provision of this first law seemed tailor-made for him. Teacher, what do you think? Xiao Yan glanced at the ring on his hand, his mind twitched, and he communicated with Yao Lao. But what surprised him was, Yao Lao was actually silent. I haven't seen any response for a long time. Upon seeing this, Xiao Yan furrowed his brows slightly and called out with suspicion. Teacher. As Xiao Yan shouted, a figure slowly emerged from the ring in his hand. This old man is dressed in a white robe, with long sleeves fluttering. Its face is old, but it appears exceptionally gentle. That pair of deep eyes exuded an old aura and an indescribable wisdom. It's like going through endless vicissitudes. The old man is none other than Xiao Yan's teacher Yao Chen. After appearing, Yao Lao looked up at the inventory screen on the ceiling, his heart filled with sighs and feelings. He didn't expect it either. I actually encountered the protagonist of the first law here. For Xiao Yan, Yao Lao is no stranger. In this land of fighting spirit, Xiao Yan practices qi at the age of 4. At the age of 10, one possesses the aura of a 9-dan Dou. At the age of 11, he broke through the 10-dan Dou qi and successfully condensed the Dou cyclone. Jumped to become the youngest fighter in the family's century-long history. Because Yao Lao's soul absorbed Xiao Yan's fighting spirit. This also made the Douji cyclone that Xiao Yan had worked hard for more than 10 years before condensing disappear overnight. Moreover, the Dou Qi within its body has also fallen to the third level of Dou Qi and cannot enter inch by inch. That's why Xiao Yan also fell from the altar of genius. In the Xiao family, their status is not even comparable to that of a servant. He has tasted the warmth and coldness of human relationships, endured discrimination and ridicule. All of these are in the eyes of Yao Lao. It is also clear that Xiao Yan's temperament is far beyond the comparison of others of his age. Now, the top 10 laws of the protagonists in the inventory of the heavens have begun. Yao Lao naturally saw it. Xiao Yan perfectly fits the various descriptions of the protagonist according to the first law. In addition to being happy, the old doctor couldn't help but worry. If it were exposed in front of the heavens and all realms, what will they do in the future? After all, on this continent of Duki, there is hidden danger. Plus his enemies, none of them are simple. After a moment of contemplation, Yao Lao looked at Xiao Yan with a serious expression on his face and advised him. Xiao Yan. From now on, I will still use my strength less. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan nodded. Nature understands that a man is innocent and harbors a guilty conscience. Teacher. Don't worry, I'll keep a low profile in the future. I think there shouldn't be any problem. At the same time, inside the light screen, the sound of the great road resounds. Representative figure of the first law. Dou Po Xiao Yan. What? Xiao Yan was dumbfounded. What? Yao Lao is also foolish. Just now, the master and disciple were still discussing to act in a low-key manner. Who ever thought? In the blink of an eye, the inventory of this avenue exposed Xiao Yan. Shocked, Xiao Yan wanted to cry without tears and said. Teacher. It's exposed. Why is this so low-key? Yao Lao was momentarily stunned and responded, saying. Don't panic, there are so many people from Duki continent, it's normal to have the same name and surname. As soon as Yao Lao spoke these words, Xiao Yan nodded and said. You're right. But just as his words had just finished, a figure slowly emerged from the inventory screen. This figure, dressed in black, has a slender body in a free-spirited demeanor, carrying a large black ruler diagonally on its back. Who is not Xiao Yan? Xiao Yan was completely speechless, his eyes wide open, his eyeballs almost startling. This. Yao Lao was stunned when he saw the situation. Just now, I still had a slight sense of luck. Who would have thought that even Xiao Yan's appearance was exposed in this inventory screen? Teacher. Xiao Yan murmured, his breath uneven, and he didn't know what to do. Yao Lao helped his forehead and secretly cursed. What are you afraid of, Nima? What are you afraid of? On this occasion. Xiao family. After seeing Xiao Yan appearing for inventory, all the members of the tribe were stunned. This. Isn't this young Master Xiao Yan? It's him. Young Master Xiao Yan is actually the protagonist. The chosen son of heaven. I didn't read it wrong, did I? Xiao Yan is actually the protagonist of the first law. Meanwhile, within the Xiao family's courtyard, a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious gray clothes also stared straight at the inventory light screen. The middle-aged man had a pair of thick eyebrows, and there was a hint of majesty in his stance. It is Xiao Yan's father, Xiao Zhan. My son is the protagonist. The son of fate. Haha. Xiao Zhan was extremely excited, his cheeks flushed with excitement. Canaan College. A stunning beauty is staring at the inventory screen with fascination. The woman's light green dress has a stunning appearance and a light temperament, like a banished fairy. It's Xiao Suner. Brother Xiao Yan. Xiao Suner looked delighted and unconsciously exclaimed, the son of destiny. Following closely, her face darkened, revealing concern. This avenue inventory reveals that Brother Xiao Yan is the protagonist of the first law. This matter is bound to cause a lot of trouble, what should we do? At the thought of this, a hint of determination flashed in Xiao Suner's eyes, and she immediately looked in a direction. Ling Shi. Go protect brother Xiao Yan. As Xiao Suner spoke, a figure suddenly flashed in that direction. This figure is completely shrouded in black, with a mask on its face. Ling Ying, the ancient imperial warrior who secretly protected Xiao Suner, stands out. Yes, miss. Upon hearing what Xiao Suner said, Ling Ying bowed and immediately took orders to leave. Chapter 5. Starting with waste, how to counterattack. Firstly, you are listening at novel full.audio. At the same time, Yunlan sect. A woman stared at the inventory light screen in shock. The woman is dressed in a moon-white dress and robe, with a delicate body that is both concave and convex. It is Nalan Yanran who stands out. When she saw Xiao Yan appearing for inventory, she was immediately shocked and her face was full of disbelief. What? Surprisingly, it could be him. Nalan exclaimed in surprise, her head ringing like thunder. I never expected it. Xiao Yan from the Xiao family in Wutan City. He is actually a representative figure of the First Law. At this moment, there is another place of Yunlan sect. There is a woman looking up at the inventory screen. This woman is dressed in a tight-fitting golden-purple robe. 3,000 green threads, tied together into the shape of a phoenix singing long. Slightly, there is an indescribable nobility that permeates. Its appearance is peaceful and beautiful, like a clear spring in a secluded mountain. Who is Yun Yun, who is not the leader of Yunlan sect? When Xiao Yan appeared in the inventory screen, Yun Yun was shocked. Damn it! She couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. I never expected that Xiao Yan would be the representative of the First Law. This Nalan Yanran is his own disciple. He demonstrated excellent cultivation talent in Yunlan sect. Because of this, Yun Yun dotes on it endlessly. Earlier, Nalan Yanran used the power of Yunlan sect to threaten the Xiao family and demanded the termination of her engagement with Xiao Yan. This matter also received her approval. What Yun Yun never expected was, the person who agreed to divorce is actually the protagonist of the First Law. Son of Destiny. Who? After a moment of thought, Yun Yun couldn't help but let out a long sigh and sighed. It looks like it. We need to go to the Xiao family. See if there are any opportunities for easing. On this occasion. Soul Clan. A middle-aged man stared straight at the inventory screen. The man was dressed in a gray and white shirt, with a slender figure and a handsome face. Especially, his pair of pupils were exceptionally bright. Deep as if able to pierce through the heart. The man is none other than the head of the Soul Clan, the Soul Heavenly Emperor. Seeing Xiao Yan appearing for inventory, the Soul Emperor frowned. Xiao Yan. The people of the Xiao family. He is actually a representative figure of this First Law. Just a moment later, the Soul Emperor's face became gloomy. Looking back at the time, he led the powerful Soul Clan to attack Xiao Xian, who used the power of the entire clan's bloodline to break through the Dou Emperor, causing Xiao Xian to be seriously injured and fall, and the Soul Clan suffered heavy losses in this battle. The Soul Emperor himself suffered a heavy blow. Xiao Yan is both a representative figure of the First Law. There must be an incredibly powerful soul around him. Someone, come on. Check it out for me and find this Xiao Yan. Upon hearing the order from the Soul Heavenly Emperor, a subordinate beside him bowed and responded. Yes. At the same time, people from all over the world stared intently at the inventory screen, discussing. Is this Xiao Yan? The protagonist of the First Law? Representative figures. Is there a resurgence of waste wood? It looks ordinary. Just as everyone was discussing, the inventory screen took a turn. But see, on the square of the Xiao family. We are conducting a morale test. Doji Qi. 3 sections. Young Xiao Yan finished his test and was surrounded by ridicule. What a waste. Our genius has been standing still for another year. This kind of waste has really ruined our family's reputation. If it weren't for his father being the clan leader, he would have been expelled from the family long ago. How could a genius from the past be so destitute as it is now? Who knows? It's hard to say what kind of outrage people have done. Seeing the scenes in the inventory, the heavens and all realms also began to discuss. Oh. Is this the protagonist of the first law? Starting with trash. No wonder it's a backflow of waste materials. I want to know, how will Xiao Yan counterattack? At this point. Upon seeing this, Xiao Yan's face was filled with bitterness and helplessness. Teacher. All exposed. When he said these words, he couldn't help but think of his dark history. Thinking about inventory, will it also be exposed in front of the heavens and the world? Upon hearing this, Yao Lao smiled helplessly. He didn't expect that Xiao Yan was actually a representative figure of this first law. This is not yet waiting for a response from the medicine expert. The inventory screen continues. But see, the screen transitions. Yunlan sect's genius Nalan Yanran brought people to the Xiao family. The Xiao family warmly welcomed everyone. After all, Yunlan sect is a powerful force that is far beyond the comparison of the current Xiao family. Cough. At this moment, the leading white-robed old man coughed softly and then said. Xiao, the main reason for coming to your family this time is to ask for something. Upon hearing this, Xiao Zhan was extremely polite and quickly responded, saying. Mr. Guyi, it doesn't matter if you have something to say. As long as my Xiao family can do it, I will never refuse. Speaking, Guyi immediately introduced Nalan Yanran to Xiao Zhan and others. Upon learning that the woman in front of her was Nalan Yan, who had an engagement with Xiao Yan, everyone in the Xiao family was shocked. Guyi didn't pay much attention to this and continued to say. Xiao clan leader, what we are asking for today is related to Yanran. And. Speaking of which, Guyi paused and added. And this matter was also personally spoken by the head of Yunlan sect. Upon hearing these words, Xiao Zhan and his family all had a solemn expression. After a moment of silence, Xiao Zhan finally spoke up. Mr. Guyi, please speak. Guyi didn't hesitate and said directly. Yunlan sect has a strict family tradition. The patriarch has high hopes for Yanran. Even treating her as the next generation leader of Yunlan sect in cultivation. The Lord has learned that Yanran has a marriage with your Xiao family. So, the patriarch wants to ask Chief Xiao to terminate this engagement. Chapter 6. Nalan Yanran. I just got married and exposed. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. See a scene in the inventory screen. Everyone in the world is amazed. This. I didn't read it wrong, did I? Divorce. The heavens were surprised, and no one expected such a scene to occur. Following closely, the sound of discussion came like a surging tide. Nima. What a protagonist. Let's just forget about the waste at the beginning, and someone came to my door to divorce me. What a shame. For the protagonist Xiao Yan, it's like adding insult to injury. What a shame. Where did a woman come to divorce? Nalan Yanran is really strong. It's not that she's dominant, it's the Yunlanzong's dominance behind her. The Xiao family can't even be considered a fart in front of Yunlan sect. For a moment, people from all over the world sighed and sighed. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yan was just a waste at the beginning. Unexpectedly, he suffered the shame of coming to his door to withdraw his marriage. On this occasion. Dolua Plain. Shrek College. A man stared straight at the inventory screen. This man has a towering figure, broad shoulders, and is dressed in a blue robe. In addition, he also has a head of water blue long hair hanging to his feet. Who is not Tang San? Seeing Xiao Yan being divorced by Nalan Yanran, Tang San and others couldn't help but mock him. What a shame. Xiao Yan is not worthy of being a man. No wonder it's the beginning of the waste logistics, what a mess. If it were me, how could Nalan Yanran dare to be so arrogant? Tang San and others were gossiping and gossiping. That appearance seems to look down on the protagonist who started this kind of waste logistics. At this moment, Xiao Wu and others, including Chao Tang San, were caught off guard and scanned, but there was no good way. Do you all think you're good enough? I think Xiao Yan is quite good. Just that kind of forbearance is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Isn't this person with hidden grooves in their chest and good intentions in their belly terrifying? The world of the Holy King. Young family. A remote courtyard. At this moment, a young man was staring at the inventory screen of the sky curtain. This young man is Yang Qi. Seeing the scene of Xiao Yan being publicly divorced by Nalan Yanran, Yang Qi couldn't help but think of his own experience. Originally, he naively yearned for love here. Even foolish enough to steal the peerless divine pill for the sake of a woman. The incident was exposed and captured, resulting in the invalidation of Qigong. Bringing endless disasters, affecting family members. Fortunately, there was no way out, but a strange lightning bolt caused Yang Qi to be reborn after the disaster. This enabled him to participate in the spirit of restraining prison like gods. Use Qi to attract the spirit, and use the spirit to form an image. If one can cultivate to great success. Tearing apart the sky and the earth, picking the moon and swallowing the sun, but in just one thought. Love. Women. Damn it. Yang Qi secretly sighed to himself. Because of being deceived by a woman's love. He has long given up on love here. At the same time. Yunlan City. There is a woman looking up at the inventory screen under the sky. This woman is quiet and elegant, charming, with ivory-like white jade hands. The woman is none other than the daughter of Yunlan City, Yunhalan. It is here that she uses Yang Qi to obtain the dragon-subduing pill. Looking at Xiao Yan in the picture, Yunhailan had an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Hee. Xiao Yan is really miserable. Compared to Yang Qi. On this occasion. Defeat the plane. Xiao Yan's face was filled with bitterness and helplessness as he saw the scenes inside the inventory screen. Just now he was still worried. Will the incident of being divorced also be exposed? I didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, it was really exposed. For him, this is his own dark history. Especially when you see the inventory screen. The barrage of comments from the people of all worlds made it even more difficult for him to calm down. It's over, it's over. Alright now, everyone knows that I got divorced. It's really despicable. Xiao Yan was filled with bitterness and helplessness. The two hands involuntarily clenched into fists, but they were helpless. If we can't eliminate our previous shame, we're afraid we'll be treated as a laughing stock by the heavens and all realms. He muttered to himself. Remembering the oath I made. The medicine old man beside saw Xiao Yan's expression and demeanor. I was thinking of saying something. But in the end, for some unknown reason, the words in his mouth were swallowed back by him. At this very moment. The inventory screen continues. But in the face of Nalan Yanran's aggressive withdrawal, Xiao Yan was furious and erupted directly. He stared straight at Nalan Yanran and spoke coldly. Nalan Yanran, you don't need to make such a strong posture. If you want to withdraw, you just think that I, Xiao Yan, am a useless person and not worthy of you, the proud daughter of heaven. To put it bluntly, besides your beauty, I don't even care about the rest of you. For the sake of your grandfather's face. I suggest a few words to you, Xiao Yan. 30 years in the East and 30 years in the West, do not deceive young people into poverty. Upon hearing Xiao Yan's words, Xiao Zhan exclaimed with admiration on his face and his eyes lit up, saying, "Okay. Don't deceive a young man who is poor. My son Xiao Zhan is extraordinary." At the same time, the heavens and all realms were greatly moved when they saw this behind the scenes. One by one, they all looked at the inventory screen of the sky curtain with a heart full of shock. This. Determined to soar into the sky, everything is in my heart. What a sentence. Don't deceive a young man who is poor. He is truly a representative figure of the first law. Human emotions are so cold that they will be praised in the future. Xiao Yan is quite ambitious. Such a character can also be called the protagonist. For a moment, people from all over the world praised and admired. Chapter 7. Wanjie. Coming. Here we go. In the ring. You are listening at novel full.audio. Just as the heavens and all worlds were shocked. The inventory screen continues. Nalan Yanran spoke up. Today's divorce. I was indeed a bit reckless. I can temporarily withdraw my request for engagement. However, I need you to agree to a promise. As she spoke, she took the opportunity to look at Xiao Yan. Agreement. Xiao Yan let out a surprise and frowned slightly. Nalan Yanran nodded and said lightly. That's right. I can postpone the divorce for 3 years. 3 years later, you will challenge me with the Cloud Lanzong. If you lose, I will publicly terminate the engagement. At that time, if you were already an adult, you would really be defeated by me. It won't embarrass Uncle Xiao either. Do you dare to take it? Upon hearing what Nalan Yanran said, Xiao Yan's face was gloomy and his heart was filled with grief and anger. Although Nalan Yanran did so, she took into account the Xiao family. But for him, once the challenge fails, that means carrying a lifetime of failure and shame. Without waiting for any response from Xiao Yan, Xiao Zhan spoke up. Miss Nalan. You are not unaware of Yenner's situation. What did he challenge you with? Upon hearing this, Nalan Yanran appeared somewhat impatient. Then there was another round of provocation and mockery towards Xiao Yan. However, what Nalan Yanran never dreamed of was. Xiao Yan unexpectedly walked up to the table and wrote with great enthusiasm. Not long after, a letter of rest was written. Then he drew out his short sword and drew a bloody wound on his palm. Leave a glaring blood mark on the letter of divorce. Nalan Yanran. Don't think how much Xiao Yan cares about you, this genius wife. This contract is not intended to terminate the engagement, but rather a divorce certificate given to you by the young master. From now on, you, Nalan Yanran, have no further connection with my Xiao family. While speaking, Xiao Yan knelt down at Xiao Zhan. Father. 3 years later, the child will go to Yunlan's sect. Wash up today's shame for you. After speaking, Xiao Yan kowtowed heavily to Xiao Zhan, then stood up and walked towards the outside of the hall. As he passed by Nalan Yanran's side, he paused and spoke coldly. Nalan Yanran, in 3 years' time, I will find you. After saying these words, Xiao Yan didn't wait for the angry Nalan Yan to respond. She walked straight out. Its back appears lonely and desolate under the sunlight. Seeing scenes in the inventory. All heavens and all realms are shocked. This. Xiao Yan gave Nalan Yanran a rest. Is it so bold? And promised a 3-year contract. What did he use to challenge Nalan Yanran, a waste at the beginning? Since you are a representative figure of the first law, there will definitely be adventures. At the same time. Yunlan sect. Cluck. Nalan Yanran's face turned pale as she saw the scene in the picture, and she gritted her teeth in hatred. Who? After half a day, she finally let out a long sigh and muttered coldly. Xiao Yan. I am waiting for you at Yunlan sect. When the time comes, see what you, this useless person, are challenging me with. On this occasion, the inventory screen transitions. Xiao Yan has arrived at the back mountain. Staring at the distant Warcraft mountains, lost in thought. As he watched, he secretly decided. Today's shame, Xiao Yan doesn't want to suffer it again. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from his ear. Little doll. It seems you need help. Following closely, an elderly figure slowly floated out of the ring in his hand. What is not the soul of Yao Chen? Seeing this scene, the heavens were shocked and discussions began to erupt. Holy crap, here we go. There's an old man inside the ring. Is it just one body with two souls? You truly deserve to be the protagonist. Just as everyone in the world sighed inside. Breaking through the world, Black Horn Domain. On an attic. At this moment, there was really a man staring straight at the inventory screen. This man is quite handsome, with long black hair hanging down to his shoulders and his lips tightly pursed, giving off a cold and sharp taste. It is Han Feng who stands out. What? When Han Feng saw the figure of Yao Chen appear, he immediately turned pale. How could it be possible? That old guy, he didn't die. He muttered in shock, his face full of disbelief. That's a hate in my heart. Han Feng is an orphan from the Black Horn Domain rescued by Yao Qinjiang from the hands of bandits. Because of his excellent talent and aptitude, he was accepted as an apprentice and generously bestowed upon him. Later, under the instigation of Mu Gu, Han Feng grew increasingly resentful of Yao Chen. After being refused the request to practice the burning decision, Han Feng made up his mind to kill Yao Chen and take away Fenju. What Han Feng never expected was, this medicinal dust is still alive. The more one thinks about it, the more resentment grows in their heart. Xiao family. He looked fiercely at Xiao Yan in the inventory screen and immediately shouted. Someone. On. A subordinate bowed in response. Immediately go and invite the major emperors to come to my place for discussion. Yes. My subordinates should have responded, so I quickly took orders and left. After waiting for his subordinates to leave, Han Feng gave a cold smile and said with a sinister expression. Xiao Yan, right. This time, I destroyed the Xiao family. Look at you, this old thing, whether you'll die or not. Chapter 8. One body, two spirits. Gift the heavenly adversarial technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On this occasion. Star Meteor Pavilion. An old man stood up and looked at the inventory screen. The old man was dressed in a green robe, and his flowing long hair was casually draped over his shoulders. It seems indescribable and carefree. The old man is none other than the deputy head of the Star Meteorist Pavilion, known as the Wind Master and Wind Leisure. What? Seeing that Yao Chen was still alive, Feng Zun was extremely shocked. The whole person burst into tears of joy. Old man, I knew you weren't dead. The Wind Venerable sighed and spoke out. I learned that Yao Chen died from alchemy and backlash. He became quite skeptical. I never believed that Yao Chen had really died. Over the years, it has been constantly searching for the traces of medicinal dust. But they achieved nothing. During this period, he also checked Han Feng. But due to the lack of substantial evidence, Han Feng was also helpless. For the Wind Venerable, Yao Chen is his lifelong friend. He is willing to confront any enemy for the sake of medicine dust. Is it the Xiao family? Surprised, the Wind Venerable murmured. Where else did you delay? Then he flashed out of the pavilion and set off on his journey. At the same time, Xiao Yan and the location of Yao Lao. Seeing scenes in the inventory. Both of them had an incredulous expression on their faces. Sigh. Yao Chen sighed helplessly. I never expected that my existence would be exposed in such a way to the heavens and all realms. Meanwhile, he could also anticipate. With the exposure of the avenue inventory, I'm afraid many enemies will come looking for it. As soon as he remembered this, he quickly looked at Xiao Yan and solemnly reminded him. Xiao Yan. In the future, we need to be more low-key in our actions. Xiao Yan nodded and responded. Don't worry, teacher. I know what to do. At this moment, the inventory screen changes. But seeing the medicine elder Fan Ju, he passed on this incredible skill to Xiao Yan. Although this Wanjie was initially only a low-level yellow level technique. But it can devour the infinite evolution of the strange fire. Even, in the end, it can surpass the heavenly level technique. Seeing these scenes, all the heavens and all the realms were shocked. In the inventory screen, there are a barrage of bullet comments. Holy crap, is this the protagonist's law? So, with one body and two souls, can you also send the heaven-defying technique? No wonder it's the protagonist. Who can compare this encounter to? Fight through the world. Many cultivators were stunned when they saw this. What? Are there any techniques that can evolve? I've never heard of it before. What kind of supernatural martial arts is this Brahma decision? Want to devour the strange fire. This condition is not usually harsh either. At the same time. Soul Clan. After seeing a scene in the inventory, the Soul Emperor couldn't help but frown. But in just a moment, he showed contempt and disdain. To advance, one needs to devour a different fire. This road is difficult to climb to the sky. The Soul Emperor muttered to himself. In the Soul Clan, there is the second-ranked void-swallowing flame on the strange fire list. Void-swallowing inflammation. Born in nothingness, with nothing to find and nothing to grasp. It is a rather peculiar existence. It is said to devour the heavens and the earth, possessing the ability to devour all things. Nevertheless, the Soul Emperor also does direct sales. Even if one devours this void and swallows inflammation. It is also impossible to be promoted to Emperor Dou through this. On the other side. Swallowing without deficiency inflammation is where it evolves into a human form. Black and inflamed all over. The whole body was covered with eerie black runes up and down. That pair of pupils, like black holes, exuded a terrifying devouring power. Wanjie. Can evolution be achieved by devouring the strange fire? Seeing a scene in the inventory, Void swallows flame with joy. In his opinion, such a cultivation method. Isn't this tailored for him? If he practices here, wouldn't it be very enjoyable? After all, it itself possesses the ability to devour all things. Black Horn Domain. Upon seeing this, Han Feng was so angry that he chiseled his teeth and got them wrong. Damn it! He drank coldly and angrily. Initially, Yao Chen was unwilling to teach him how to make a decision. That's why he just took action against Yao Chen. Now, Yao Chen has passed on this anti-heaven technique to Xiao Yan. It can be imagined how angry he is in his heart. Xiao Yan, you. Wait for me. Just as everyone in the world was shocked. The inventory screen continues. But with the help of Yao Lao, Xiao Yan's strength has rapidly improved. 3 years. It's like opening a hang. I have been promoted to the level of a master of martial arts. Seeing this scene, Wanjie was all shocked. Here we go. The former waste materials are about to rise against the sky. I don't know, what would Nalan Yanran, who is determined to withdraw, think when she sees these things? Relying on being a genius, can one act recklessly? Little did they know that compared to Xiao Yan, they were simply clowns. Who made Xiao Yan the protagonist? Still Xiao Yan's words, don't deceive young people into being poor. Just as everyone in the world sighed and sighed. The location of Yunlan's sect. This. How could it be? Nalan exclaimed in surprise, her face full of incomprehension. 3 years' time. From the third stage of Doji Qi to the Great Dosher. These talents are not ordinary terror. The more she thought about it, Nalan Yanran was also shocked. You should know that even she is only in the realm of combat today. Did I really make a mistake? Suddenly, a thought flashed through Nalan Yanran's mind. If placed before, she would not have questioned her decision at all. But now, after reviewing the inventory. But it made her waver. Even begin to reflect. Did I make a mistake when I withdrew from my marriage? Chapter 9. At the critical moment of life and death, the combat power exponentially increases. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Canaan College. After seeing the situation in the inventory, Xiao Suner was overjoyed. Truly worthy of being brother Xiao Yan. That's amazing. Just. That old man. Thinking of this, Xiao Suner frowned slightly. She had sensed the presence of medicinal dust before. But the other party has no hostility. She didn't take any action. Now, it seems that it is a chance for Xiao Yan. Nalan Yanran. I said you would regret it. Suddenly, Xiao Suner thought of Nalan Yanran. At that time, he came to the door to withdraw his marriage. That scene is still vivid in her memory today. Perhaps for Nalan Yanran. The Xiao family's voluntary withdrawal from marriage is a very small matter. But for the Xiao family, for Xiao Yan. But it is a great shame. At the same time. On Xiao Yan's side. Seeing a scene in the inventory, the whole person was shocked. I was promoted to the dosher in 3 years. He looked incredulous. After all, he is now in the realm of a true fighter. It's all thanks to the teacher. In that case, a 3-year agreement is enough to win over Nalan Yanran. After thinking for a moment, Xiao Yan took the opportunity to look at the medicine dust floating on the side. In my eyes, I am filled with gratitude. Although my fighting spirit from those 3 years was absorbed by the medicinal dust. But after waking up, medicine dust gave him more. Kid, why are you looking at me like this? Just a big fighter. Yao Chen smiled, his face light and indifferent. On this occasion, the screen continues. But seeing that, Xiao Yan came to the desert to practice. In the stone desert city, he encountered the Ice Emperor Haibudong, whose strength was sealed by Queen Medusa. Then, Xiao Yan relied on the soul power of Yao Lao. The combat power skyrocketed. Feeling the constantly rising aura on Xiao Yan's body. Haibudong's face was shocked. Then, the two engaged in a fight. What impressed Haibudong even more was. In this short period of time, Xiao Yan seemed to have changed a person. The changes in strength before and after have a profound judgment. After a fierce battle, Haibudong was unexpectedly beaten by Xiao Yan with no fighting power. It is to use the advanced Xianbing spin kill of the Xian level. Also easily destroyed by Xiao Yan. Sir, you lost. Sorry, this broken map belongs to me. Xiao Yan clapped his hands in fear and smiled at Haibudong, saying. The heavens and all worlds were shocked to see this. Holy crap, here we go again. At the critical moment of life and death, the combat effectiveness skyrocketed. Is this the protagonist's law? What a decent person. Xiao Yan's combat power is truly terrifying. On this occasion. In the desert. In a store selling maps. This store is not as luxurious and flashy as other stores. But it gives people a rustic atmosphere. At this point, the position of the store by the window. There is an elderly man with white hair looking up at the inventory screen under the sky. The elderly are not others. It is precisely Haibo Dong, known as the Ice Emperor. What? Seeing that he had been beaten by a young man with no fighting ability, Haibo Dong's heart was greatly shaken and he was so angry that he jumped his feet. Holy crap, I was publicly executed. A teenager suppressing me. Haibo was shocked to the east. But after a moment of thought, he calmed down. However, Xiao Yan is the protagonist. Those laws are really incredible. For that broken map. Do I want to become enemies with him? At this thought, Haibo Dong glanced slightly and began to weigh the pros and cons in his heart. After thinking for a moment, a hint of determination flashed in his eyes. Feeling overwhelmed, I decided to invest in Xiao Yan. After all, Xiao Yan is a representative figure of this first law. At the same time, Xiao family. Xiao Zhan and others were all shocked and they saw a scene behind the scenes in the inventory. Yan'er is truly the protagonist of the first law. Xiao Zhan was overjoyed, his face flushed with excitement. Emperor Dou. Is that strong person's soul so strong? It's really terrifying. With this person by my side, I can rest assured. Xiao Zhan was deeply moved. Previously, I was worried that Xiao Yan would go out to experience alone. Nowadays, I see a powerful soul-body leader like Yao Chen. That restless heart suddenly let go of a lot. Soul Hall. Woohoo Dharma sees this. The whole person was shocked and couldn't help but burst out laughing. Jia jia jia. Medicine dust, medicine lord. Such a soul, it's really easy to find. Woohoo Dharma is ecstatic in his heart. The main responsibility of the Soul Palace is to collect souls. Seeing the soul of Yao Lao now, I must be coveting it. Then, without much delay, Wu Protector stood up immediately. Go find Xiao Yan and seize the soul of medicine dust. On this occasion, the inventory screen continues. Under fixed eyes, but the 3-year agreement has arrived. Xiao Yan ascended to the Cloud Lan Zone and defeated Nalan Yanran. Nalan Yanran, in the future, you and my Xiao family will have no further involvement. You're free. Congratulations. Due to Nalan Yanran's defeat, Yunlan sect couldn't hold back their pride. As the elder of Yunlan sect, Yunleng is trying to save face. Resolutely keep Xiao Yan. For this reason, it even led to the former feudal Lord Yunshan, who had been in seclusion for many years. Fortunately, with the help of Hai Budong and others, Xiao Yan was able to avoid a disaster. After leaving Yunlan sect, Xiao Yan received a message. Upon learning that his family had been ambushed, his father Xiao Zhan went missing. Chapter 10. The protagonist of the first law is too powerful. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Because I perceive that this matter is related to Yunlan sect. Under the wrath of Xiao Yan, after settling down with the Xiao family, he will ascend to Yunlan sect. With the help of Yao Chen's power, he killed Yunling and avenged the Xiao family. In addition, Xiao Yan also faced the Dozong powerhouse Yunshan directly. In the end, with the help of Yao Chen and the Maitel family, he escaped safely. Seeing the scenes in the inventory, the whole world of Dou Po is numb. Everyone stared in disbelief, dumbfounded. This. I'm Nima. Killed the elder Yunling of Yunlan sect. A great fighter, a fighting sect. Isn't this too extreme? You are truly the protagonist of the first law. Will Nalan Yanran's intestines turn blue with regret? At the same time, everyone in the world was shocked to see it. Too strong. This is the protagonist. This is the law. Within this law, everything is scum. Yeah. At the critical moment of life and death, the combat power increases exponentially. The more advanced the challenge, it's like playing Xiao Yan is truly a representative figure of the first law. Just as everyone in the world is discussing the location of Yunlan sect. This. Nalan Yanran saw it and was completely stunned. It's unbelievable. Xiao Yan's promotion to the Big Dipper Master in 3 years is not a big deal. And defeated her. Winning in the 3-year agreement. Who would have thought that Xiao Yan would still cause a stir in Yunlan sect? Even the eldest elder of Yunlan sect, Yunling, was killed by him. You should know that Yunling is a true Douwang powerhouse. How? How could it be? How could Xiao Yan become so powerful in just a few years? The more she thought about it, the more Nalan Yanran felt shocked. I feel even more regretful in my heart. Thinking about if I hadn't gone to the Xiao family to get married. These things will not happen in the future. At the same time, Grandmaster Yun was also shocked to see a scene behind the scenes in the inventory screen. This. In the future, will my Cloud Lanzong be stirred up like this by the young man Xiao Yan? Just a big fighter. Can you have such strong power? Yun was amazed and lost in thought, her face full of disbelief. Besides, what also made her feel strange was. After seeing Xiao Yan, an inexplicable emotion arose in the depths of her heart. On this occasion, Yunlan sect's back mountain. An old man also looked straight at the inventory screen of the sky curtain. The old man was dressed in a white robe, with cloud patterns painted on it. On both sleeves, there is a sword pattern painted. The sword pattern was like substance, with a hint of sharp sword energy overflowing. The old man is none other than Yun Shan, the previous leader of Yunlan sect. Yun Shan was surprised and looked incredulous. I never expected that my own Grand Dozong would not be able to win a Grand Dosher. Xiao Yansai's master of martial arts is so powerful. If we let it grow, will we still have it in the future? His Buddha angered Tang Lian and even killed Yunlang, almost causing the entire Yunlan sect to be flattened. Is this kind of fighting technique truly something that a master can master? After a moment of thought, Yinshan's eyebrows furrowed and his face became even more gloomy like water. Another place. Upon seeing it, Yunling was immediately stunned. What? In the future, I will be beheaded by a great fighter. Xiao Yan. He looked fiercely at the inventory screen, with a murderous intent in his eyes. On this occasion, Xiao family. Everyone was stunned when they saw this behind the scenes. This. Is young Master Xiao Yan so powerful? Did you stir up Yunlan sect? Even the elder of Yunlan sect, Yunling, was killed by him, and Dozong Yun Shan was unable to keep him. Oh my goodness. The protagonist of this certain law is too powerful to be true. Will my Xiao family be attacked in the future? Will the clan leader also disappear? Is it really a ghost caused by Yunlan sect? For a moment, everyone in the Xiao family was amazed and looked incredulous. At the same time, on Xiao Yan's side. Seeing the situation in the inventory, his eyebrows furrowed and his anger surged in his heart. Damn it! Is this Yunlan sect despicably attacking my family? I defeated Nalan Yanran with integrity, and they were still playing tricks. Xiao Yan said coldly. Upon hearing this, the old doctor beside him spoke up. Xiao Yan. Indecent development. Now you are only in the realm of just fighting. To you, Yunlan sect is no different from a towering mountain. After Yao Lao's words, Xiao Yan finally calmed down and lightly nodded, saying. The teacher is right. Canaan College. After seeing the scenes in the inventory, Xiao Yan'er couldn't help but frown and furrow. Although I am happy that Xiao Yan defeated Nalan Yanran in a 3-year agreement. What worries her is. Surprisingly, something happened to the Xiao family. Moreover, it seems that Xiao Zhan was also robbed by someone. Because of Xiao Zhan's disappearance. Just now, Xiao Yan was furious and went up to Yunlan's sect. Although the process was thrilling, Xiao Yan finally managed to escape. But for Xiao Suner. If you don't know these, that's all. Now that it has been exposed. The best way is to prevent all of this from happening. While contemplating, Xiao Suner glanced slightly and muttered to herself. It seems. We need to protect Uncle Xiao well. Just as everyone in the world was shocked. The inventory screen continues to rotate. Seeing this, Wanjie was all surprised. Everyone stared in amazement one by one. I'm Nima. What else?